Humanity had always looked to the stars with wonder, dreaming of distant worlds, ancient civilizations, and the promise of what lay beyond the great expanse of space. For centuries, humans had watched from Earth, bound by gravity and time. But that was before the Great Awakening. In the year 2143, a series of inexplicable events began to unfold across the Earth. It started with whispers, fleeting glimpses of strange lights in the night sky. Soon, the most powerful telescopes in the world detected a fleet of unknown ships, alien in design, floating on the outskirts of the solar system. These ships didn't approach Earth with hostility, nor did they come to trade. Instead, they hovered, seemingly waiting for something. At first, humanity's leaders were cautious. Was it a trick? A prelude to invasion? Or perhaps a test? The world governments scrambled to mobilize their best minds, bringing together scientists, military strategists, and diplomats to interpret the signals and study the ship's movements. But as months passed with no further activity from the mysterious fleet, humans began to grow restless. What did these visitors want? Why had they come? The answer arrived unexpectedly. A single transmission broke through the global communication networks, a message, cryptic yet profound, carried in every language known to humankind. The message was simple. Beneath the stars, there is a place for you. It was a message that sent shockwaves through humanity. No one knew what it meant, but the realization began to dawn on Earth's leaders: the stars were not just a distant dream. They were now a reality humanity could touch, explore, and, perhaps, conquer. In the weeks that followed, Earth entered a new era. The aliens, who had been observed as strangely passive, began providing technological blueprints, offering humanity an accelerated path toward the stars. Spacefaring vessels capable of faster-than-light travel were constructed. Tools for advanced communication were developed. In a matter of years, the world had transformed. Humanity's capabilities were no longer limited to Earth. But it wasn't just the technology that began to shift the balance of power. A revelation emerged, an ancient prophecy embedded in the stars themselves. The aliens, who called themselves the Vihira, revealed they had been searching for a species that possessed a unique trait, a deep, unyielding drive for exploration. A willingness to venture into the unknown, to push beyond the barriers of the ordinary. The Vihira, a once immense galactic empire now scattered and fading, had long lost their ability to reach beyond their own borders. Their own civilization, now in decline, had succumbed to stagnation. But humans were different. They had shown the potential to not only explore but to conquer the cosmos. The Vihira recognized this rare trait, and in doing so, had chosen Earth and its inhabitants as the next great hope for the galaxy. The truth of this revelation reverberated through human society. It was a moment that defined a generation. The stars, once seen as distant, unreachable, had now become the playing field for mankind's destiny. A destiny no longer confined to the cradle of Earth. But with this new responsibility came a burden. The Vihira had made it clear that the universe was not just a vast, empty void. It was teeming with life, most of which was not as friendly as the Vihira. The stars were home to powerful factions, ancient empires, and ruthless conquerors. Humanity, while brimming with potential, would have to learn to navigate this treacherous landscape. As Earth prepared for its first true foray into the cosmos, an elite fleet was assembled, the Vanguard. A team of the best and brightest humanity had to offer: military commanders, brilliant scientists, diplomats, and explorers, all chosen for their unique qualities. Among them was Captain Anya Solis, a fearless leader known for her sharp intellect and unshakable determination. Her mission was clear: lead humanity's first major interstellar expedition, seek out the galaxy's secrets, and, most importantly, make humanity's mark among the stars. But as the Vanguard set course for the stars, they were unaware that their mission would be anything but simple. The universe was far more complex, and dangerous, than they could have ever imagined. In the quiet moments before their departure, Captain Solis stood on the bridge of the newly constructed flagship Pioneer, gazing out into the void. The stars were her path, and she could feel the weight of humanity's hopes pressing down on her shoulders. For the first time in history, humanity was on the brink of taking its place in the galaxy. The stars were no longer just a place to dream about. They were now a destination, and it was time to chart the course. The Pioneer glided through the void, faster than any human-made vessel before it, a testament to the marvels of the Vihira's gift of technology. The crew, a mix of military, scientific, and diplomatic experts, was charged with an unprecedented task: finding allies, securing resources, and proving humanity's worth among the stars. However, the excitement of this historic mission was tempered by the reality of the unknown. The further they ventured into the galaxy, the more isolated they became. It had been nearly 3 weeks since they left the solar system. The crew was adjusting to their new life aboard the vessel, which had become their home for the foreseeable future. Captain Solis walked the halls of the Pioneer, her mind restless, filled with both awe and anxiety. They had been to the fringes of explored space, but they were now entering territory where no human had ever gone. The first destination on their chart was a remote star system known as Althra, rumored to be home to an ancient race of beings called the Zaldrun. They had been the subject of many speculations. Some believed them to be a peaceful, highly advanced society, while others feared they were a warlike, reclusive species. Either way, the Zaldrun were a key first contact for humanity. If successful, it would pave the way for future alliances, if they didn't simply annihilate the human crew outright. As they approached Althra, the first signs of life began to appear on their sensors: a powerful energy source, a vast structure in orbit around a nearby planet. The crew gathered in the command center, their eyes glued to the monitors as they analyzed the signals. The structure was unlike anything humanity had ever built, vast and geometrically perfect. There was no mistaking it, this was a hub of intelligent life. "We're getting a response," Lieutenant K. Dre, the ship's communications officer, called out. He worked tirelessly at his console, trying to decipher the signals from the alien structure. "They're sending something back. It's a communication. It's in a language I've never encountered before." Captain Solis felt a thrill rush through her. This was it. The first real communication with an alien species. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but there was no time for hesitation. They had to move forward. Solis turned to her first officer, Commander Hilaire Voss. "Prepare the landing party. We're going to make contact." In a matter of hours, the Pioneer was in orbit around the planet. The massive alien structure was their destination. A small team of diplomats, scientists, and soldiers gathered in the shuttle bay. Solis would lead the team herself, along with Dr. Omar Vance, the head scientist, and Lieutenant Vera Cullis, an expert in alien technology. They all knew this could be humanity's chance to take the first step toward forging a new future. The shuttle descended toward the surface, the alien structure looming ever larger as they approached. The air was thick with tension, the hum of the ship's engines the only sound. Solis's thoughts raced, but she focused on the task at hand. She knew they had to make a good impression. As the shuttle's landing gear touched the surface, the ground beneath them hummed with energy. The doors opened, and the landing party stepped into an alien world, a landscape both beautiful and intimidating. The sky was a deep purple, and strange bioluminescent plants illuminated the terrain. The air smelled metallic, electric even, as if the very atmosphere pulsed with a life of its own. "Stay alert," Solis ordered, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. "We don't know what we're walking into." They moved cautiously toward the towering structure ahead. As they approached, the ground beneath their feet began to vibrate. Suddenly, the massive doors of the structure began to open, revealing a massive chamber inside. It was empty at first glance, but then, from the shadows, figures emerged, tall, imposing beings with shimmering skin, their eyes glowing faintly with an eerie, otherworldly light. The Zaldrun. Captain Solis's heart raced as the beings advanced, their movements graceful yet unnervingly precise. They towered over the humans, their physical presence commanding attention. They spoke in a low, melodic language, their words resonating with an unspoken power. Despite the fact that Solis couldn't understand them, she knew they were communicating something important. Dr. Vance stepped forward, his translator device beeping as it struggled to decode the language. After a few tense moments, it finally came through. "You are the humans," a voice echoed in their minds, deep and resonant. "You have come to our world." Solis took a step forward, heart pounding. "Yes. We come in peace. We are explorers, seeking to make contact and learn from you." The Zaldrun leader, taller than the others, extended a hand, its surface crackling with energy. "Peace is a fragile thing. You have come to the threshold of the stars, and yet, you do not understand what lies ahead. To survive, you must embrace the truth of the galaxy." Captain Solis nodded, sensing the gravity in the leader's words. "We will learn. We are ready." The leader's eyes glowed brighter. "Then you will face the trials that will test the very core of your existence. We shall see if you are worthy of the stars." The Zaldrun did not offer simple hospitality or idle conversation. Instead, they spoke of trials, tests that would determine if humanity was ready to claim its place among the stars. They believed in strength, wisdom, and resolve, and they were not willing to simply accept humanity into their fold without proving their worth. Captain Solis and her crew stood in the grand chamber, feeling the weight of the Zaldrun leader's words. The towering figures of the alien species surrounded them, their eyes glowing like distant stars, observing every movement. Solis glanced at Dr. Vance, who was still absorbing the information through his translator, and Lieutenant Cullis, whose hand hovered near her weapon, though she knew that in this environment, firepower might not offer protection. "What do you mean by trials?" Solis asked, her voice steady despite the storm of thoughts racing in her mind. The Zaldrun leader stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. "In the stars, nothing is given freely. You must earn your place. There are 3 trials. The first, the trial of strength. The second, the trial of knowledge. And the third, the trial of unity. If you succeed, you may join the galaxy as a true force. If you fail, you will be lost among the stars, forgotten." The leader's words echoed through the chamber, his eyes narrowing as he gauged their reactions. There was no fear in Solis's expression, only resolve. Her crew shared her confidence, but none could ignore the gravity of what they were about to face. "This is our only chance," Solis said quietly, turning to her team. "We're ready. We will prove ourselves." The Zaldrun leader nodded solemnly. With a wave of his hand, the floor beneath them rumbled, and a massive, swirling vortex of energy appeared in the center of the room. It pulsed with light and power, casting long shadows against the walls. "This is the trial of strength," the leader intoned. "Survive this, and you may continue. Fail, and you will be cast into oblivion." Without warning, the vortex opened wider, and from it, massive, armored creatures began to emerge. The creatures were massive, almost twice the size of the tallest human, and their bodies were covered in thick, impenetrable armor. Their claws scraped against the stone floor, leaving deep grooves in their wake. Their eyes glowed with the same intense energy as the Zaldrun, and their growls reverberated through the chamber. "Fight them," the Zaldrun leader commanded, his voice unwavering. "Prove that humanity is not just capable of surviving the harshness of the universe but thriving in it." Captain Solis's pulse quickened, but her mind remained focused. She motioned for her crew to prepare. The soldiers of the vanguard, trained for combat, readied their weapons, while Dr. Vance and Lieutenant Cullis began assessing the situation, searching for weaknesses in the creature's armor. The creatures charged, and chaos erupted. The clash of metal and the thunderous roars of the beasts filled the chamber. Solis acted quickly, her hand gripping her weapon as she aimed for the creature nearest to her. The energy blasts barely scratched the creature's thick plating, but she knew the key wasn't just brute force, it was strategy. "Vance, any ideas?" she shouted over the din of battle. "Energy fields," Vance replied, his voice calm despite the chaos. "Look at the creatures' backs. The armor is reinforced there, but I think the energy signature is different. There's a weakness." Solis nodded, signaling to Lieutenant Cullis. We need to get behind them. Move. The team sprang into action, splitting up and surrounding the creatures. The soldiers focused on distracting the beasts, drawing their attention away from the vulnerable spots on their backs. Cullis led the charge, agile and fast, taking advantage of the creatures' slower movements to strike at their exposed areas. As Solis and Cullis coordinated their attacks, Vance used his knowledge of alien technology to modify the ship's weaponry for a more effective assault. He had always been a genius in adapting foreign tech, and this was no different. He calibrated a disruptor rifle to target the weak points on the creatures' backs, sending concentrated bursts of energy into the vulnerable spots. One by one, the massive creatures fell, their bodies crashing to the ground with a thunderous roar. The last creature, weakened by Cullis's precise strikes and Vance's disruptor shots, finally collapsed, and the remaining ones retreated back into the vortex. Solis and her crew stood, panting and covered in sweat, their hearts pounding from the intensity of the fight. They had survived the trial of strength, but as the Zaldrun leader's piercing gaze fixed on them, they knew that their journey had only just begun. Impressive, the Zaldrun leader said, his voice reverberating in their minds. You have passed the first trial, but strength alone is not enough to secure your place among the stars. He gestured toward a massive stone door that had opened silently behind them. It was adorned with intricate carvings, symbols that seemed to shift and change before their eyes. The second trial awaits, he continued. The trial of knowledge. The chamber fell silent after the massive doors to the trial of knowledge creaked open. The air shifted in response to the change, a cold draft sweeping through the room. The Zaldrun leader stood motionless, his gaze unwavering, as if assessing every action, every thought of the human crew. Captain Solis and her team stepped into the next chamber, their movements cautious but resolute. It was a vast, circular space, and at its center was a glowing sphere. Its surface was like liquid glass, pulsating with ethereal energy. Floating above it were symbols, complex, alien patterns that seemed to shift and reconfigure themselves every time the crew's eyes attempted to focus. This is your trial, the Zaldrun leader's voice echoed in their minds. The trial of knowledge. You will face the most profound mysteries of the cosmos. Answer them correctly, and you may continue. Fail, and you will be bound to a fate of ignorance. The questions will test not only your intellect but your wisdom. Be prepared. Solis felt a cold sweat break out on her brow. Strength had been hard enough, but this was different. This was the essence of the universe itself, the fabric of existence. She wasn't just leading a crew to survive a battle, now, they had to comprehend the very things that lay at the heart of life, space, and time. She motioned for her team to spread out, positioning themselves around the sphere, each member preparing to face whatever mental challenges would come next. Solis herself stood before the glowing orb, her mind racing. She had always considered herself sharp, but now the gravity of the task seemed impossible. The questions of the Zaldrun could unravel everything they knew. Suddenly, the sphere flickered, and a voice, deep, ancient, and resonant, filled the chamber. Asterisk asterisk, what is the essence of existence? Asterisk asterisk. The words boomed in their minds, and an oppressive silence followed. The question was simple, yet infinite. It felt as though time itself held its breath, waiting for an answer. Solis's heart hammered in her chest. She glanced at Dr. Vance, who had always been the philosophical type. It's a question of purpose, Vance murmured softly, as if trying to ground himself. The essence of existence, maybe it's about creation, knowledge, or survival. But what does the universe truly want from us? The voice spoke again, more forceful now. Asterisk asterisk, what is the true nature of consciousness? Asterisk asterisk. This question pierced the crew's thoughts like a knife. Lieutenant Cullis clenched her fists, her eyes narrowing as she thought. Is consciousness just the product of biology? Or is there something more? A higher awareness? The crew pondered the question in silence, feeling the weight of its implications. Captain Solis felt her mind stretch, reaching into places where only philosophers or the most advanced scientists dared tread. She knew that answering would require more than just knowledge. It would demand an understanding of the very core of life. Consciousness is the ability to perceive and understand, Solis finally said, her voice firm as she spoke her thoughts out loud. It is the awareness of self and the universe. But the true nature, could it be more than just perception? Could it be connection, an interconnectedness of all beings? The voice rumbled in response. Asterisk asterisk, you have answered, but the trial has only begun, asterisk asterisk. The sphere flickered again, and this time, the room began to shift. The floor beneath them transformed, becoming transparent, revealing a series of floating platforms suspended in an endless abyss. Each platform was inscribed with strange symbols, patterns that seemed familiar yet impossibly alien. Where are we? Cullis whispered, her voice filled with awe and suspicion. The trial has started, Vance said quietly. We must solve these riddles. The voice returned once more, now softer, almost soothing. Asterisk asterisk, to cross the void, you must solve the riddle of the cosmos. The first, what binds all matter in the universe, asterisk asterisk. The answer was expected to come swiftly, yet it didn't. The crew exchanged uncertain glances. Matter? Energy? Gravity? Dark matter? There were so many answers, each based on a different scientific understanding of the universe. Gravity, Vance said at last, his voice steady. It's gravity that binds matter together. From the smallest particles to the largest galaxies. Gravity connects everything. The voice echoed again, but this time it was approving. Asterisk asterisk, correct, asterisk asterisk. A platform shifted beneath them, glowing with blue energy. The crew cautiously stepped onto it, the sensation beneath their feet unnerving. They now had their first piece of the puzzle. But the trial of knowledge was far from over. Asterisk asterisk, what is the fate of a universe without conflict? Asterisk asterisk, the voice asked, its tone philosophical, contemplative. The question struck Captain Solis to her core. She thought of the wars, the battles, the destruction humanity had inflicted on itself over the millennia. Could there truly be a universe without conflict? A perfect world? There is no such thing as a universe without conflict, Solis said, her voice tinged with a touch of sorrow. Conflict drives growth, change, evolution. Without it, stagnation sets in. The voice was silent for a long moment, and then it spoke again. Asterisk asterisk, correct, asterisk asterisk. The platform shifted again, and this time it became solid beneath them. They had passed the next challenge, but each step forward was more intense than the last. They were nearing the final trial. As they stepped onto another platform, the voice spoke one last time. Asterisk asterisk, your final question, what is the ultimate truth of the universe, asterisk asterisk. The crew stood still. There were no answers easy enough for this one. Solis's mind raced through philosophies, scientific theories, and metaphysical concepts. It wasn't a question that could be answered lightly. The truth is, that there is no ultimate truth, she finally said, her voice steady. The universe is vast, unknowable in its entirety. The truth lies in our quest for understanding, in the questions we continue to ask. The room grew still. Asterisk asterisk, you have passed the trial of knowledge, asterisk asterisk, the voice spoke, this time full of approval. You are one step closer. But remember, knowledge is nothing without the ability to unite it in the face of the unknown. The sphere dimmed, and the platforms beneath them began to retract, leading them back toward the center of the chamber. The crew exhaled collectively, the weight of the trial lifting from their shoulders, though the next trial loomed ahead. The chamber was silent, but the air thrummed with a palpable tension. Captain Solis stood at the forefront, her eyes scanning her crew. They had faced the physical trials, proving their strength, and they had answered the deepest questions of existence, proving their knowledge. But now, they faced the trial of unity, the final test, and Solis knew that this trial would not be one of individual prowess. It would be about something far more crucial, their ability to come together as a team, to work as one. The Zaldrun leader's presence was still heavy in the air, his glowing eyes watching intently from the shadows. This trial, he intoned, is not a matter of intellect or force. It is the measure of your collective spirit. Can humanity stand together when faced with the most impossible of choices? Can you unify, not just as a team, but as a people? Solis swallowed hard, feeling the gravity of the statement settle over her like a thick cloak. Unity. The idea seemed simple in theory, but in practice, it was far more complicated. Her crew, though loyal, was made up of individuals from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different motivations. They had their differences. There were moments of tension between them, moments when their priorities clashed. Now, they would have to set all of that aside for something greater. The Zaldrun leader waved his hand, and the floor beneath them began to shift. Walls expanded, and the ceiling rose as the entire chamber transformed. Before them stood a large crystalline structure, sharp and jagged, yet beautiful. Inside the structure, a pulsating, bright light shone. It was mesmerizing, its energy drawing them in. This, the Zaldrun leader's voice echoed, is the core of unification. It is both a challenge and a choice. Inside it is the key to your future. However, only one of you may approach the core and claim it for humanity. The rest must remain behind. Solis felt a pang of doubt in her chest. The other members of her crew exchanged uneasy glances. They had all come so far, fought so hard, and now the final trial required a decision that none of them were prepared for. One would ascend to claim the prize of humanity's future, while the others would be left behind. What did this mean for their unity? I don't think we should fight over it, Lieutenant Kulla said, her voice resolute. She had always been the one to approach problems with a sharp focus and tactical brilliance, but this time, she seemed to be grasping the heart of the trial. We have faced challenges before, together. We can face this one together too. I agree, Dr. Vance chimed in. This isn't about one person's glory. It's about what we can accomplish when we act as one. Solis was silent for a long moment, the weight of their words pressing upon her. The unity of her crew had always been a point of pride for her, but she had never been asked to prove it like this. Was the test truly about unity in the abstract, or was there a deeper lesson? Could they truly come together, not as individuals, but as a collective force? She turned toward the crystalline structure. The core's light seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. It was mesmerizing, yes, but also incredibly isolating. One person, only one, could touch it. The rest would be left in the dark. A sudden thought flashed through her mind. What if? Solis began, her voice trembling slightly with realization, the trial isn't about choosing one of us. What if it's about demonstrating that we all can approach the challenge together? The crew looked at her, their eyes widening as they realized the truth in her words. They didn't have to fight for the right to approach the core. The lesson here wasn't about personal victory, it was about the willingness to sacrifice for the collective good. We all approach it together, Solis said with newfound certainty. We all touch it, together. The Zaldrun leader's eyes narrowed, watching intently as Solis stepped forward. The rest of the crew followed her, and though the air crackled with energy, none of them hesitated. Each step was taken in unison, and as they reached the crystalline structure, they placed their hands upon it together, linking their bodies and souls to the energy pulsing within. For a moment, nothing happened. The room was silent, the light dimming as they stood in unity, hands on the core. Solis closed her eyes, focusing on the bond between her and her crew, the understanding that no one person could bear the weight of the future alone. Then, suddenly, the core flared to life. A wave of energy surged outward, enveloping the entire chamber in a blinding brilliance. The Zaldrun leader stepped back, his expression unreadable, but there was something almost approving in the way his eyes gleamed. For a brief moment, the crew was bathed in light, their bodies filled with a warmth unlike anything they had ever felt before. As the light faded, the Zaldrun leader spoke again, his voice calm and final. You have passed the trial of unity. You have demonstrated what the galaxy has long sought to understand, that true strength lies not in the individual, but in the bond that connects all things. Solis's heart swelled with pride. They had done it. They had proven humanity's worth, not through strength alone, but through their collective spirit. And as the energy of the trial faded, a sense of profound peace settled over her. No matter what challenges lay ahead, she knew that humanity would face them together. The Zaldrun leader stepped forward, his eyes gleaming. The trials are complete. You have proven yourselves worthy. Humanity has earned its place in the stars. Solis exhaled, a smile breaking across her face. She turned to her crew, and for the first time in this strange and alien world, she knew with every fiber of her being, that humanity was not just a species to be tolerated or observed. Humanity was ready. They had the strength, the knowledge, and the unity to conquer the vastness of the universe. And the stars, those infinite, shimmering jewels, were now within their grasp. As the Zaldrun leader stepped back, his presence momentarily softened, the chamber around the crew shimmered with an almost ethereal glow. The air seemed to hum with anticipation, and Captain Solis felt her heart beat in sync with the cosmic rhythm that now enveloped them. The trials had tested them in ways they could never have imagined, but they had emerged victorious. Yet, in the silence that followed their success, a new question loomed: what now? The Zaldrun leader's voice broke the silence. You have passed the trials. You have proven your strength, wisdom, and unity. But now you must decide what to do with your knowledge. Humanity is ready for the stars, but the universe is not as simple as you might think. Solis nodded slowly, turning to her crew. Their faces, though triumphant, were also filled with the quiet understanding that this victory was just the beginning. The universe was vast, filled with untold wonders, but also untold dangers. Will we simply accept our place among the stars, or will we carve our own path? Vance asked, his tone thoughtful. The universe is full of opportunities, but it's also full of ancient threats. Can we truly survive out here without losing what makes us human? Kala stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with determination. We've already proven that we can survive anything. We've faced the unknown, fought together, and unified when it mattered most. Whatever the future holds, we'll face it as one. The words echoed in Solis's mind, settling into the very core of her being. They had fought for unity, they had earned their place among the stars, but now came the true test: how would humanity shape its future in this new, uncharted era? As the Zaldrun leader gazed at them, his expression unreadable, Solis finally spoke. We don't want to just exist in the galaxy. We want to contribute to it. Humanity has something unique to offer: our resilience, our drive, our creativity. We will explore, we will learn, and we will make the universe a better place. But we will not do it alone. We will build alliances, share knowledge, and help those who cannot help themselves. The Zaldrun leader nodded solemnly, his glowing eyes showing a hint of approval. You speak of unity beyond your own kind. A noble goal. The universe is vast, but it is also divided. Empires and factions constantly vie for power. War and politics shape the destiny of many. If you wish to be more than just another species in the galaxy, you must be prepared to navigate its complexities. Solis felt a deep resolve settle over her. She had known that the challenges wouldn't end with the trials, but hearing the leader's words only solidified her determination. Humanity had always been capable of adapting, of overcoming, and now, more than ever, it was time to prove that once again. Then we will build something greater, she said with confidence. Not just for ourselves, but for all those who seek peace, knowledge, and cooperation. We won't be content to stand on the sidelines. We'll lead. The Zaldrun leader paused, his eyes narrowing as he considered her words. Then, with a gesture, the walls of the chamber seemed to dissolve, revealing a map of the galaxy, a vast network of stars, systems, and unknown territories. The image was not static, it shifted and moved, showcasing the complexities of the galaxy's political landscape. This is the current state of the universe, the leader explained. There are alliances and empires that stretch across vast swathes of space. But there are also regions uncharted, isolated, and even hostile. If you seek to forge your own path, you must first decide what kind of future you want to build. A section of the map lit up, showing multiple factions: the Hadean Empire, a militaristic regime known for its brutal conquests; the Kynar Collective, an intellectual union of species united by the pursuit of knowledge; and the Astra Dominion, a coalition of various worlds that sought peace through diplomatic means. Each faction had its own strengths, weaknesses, and complex relationships with one another. It was a galaxy teeming with opportunity, but also with tension. Solis stepped closer to the map, her finger tracing a path between the various factions. We don't need to align ourselves with just one. Humanity will carve out its own niche, a space for peace, exploration, and innovation. We'll offer what no one else has: the unity of a species that can rise above conflict, think beyond borders, and understand that we are stronger together. Vance nodded. The unknown regions of the galaxy are where humanity could really make its mark. Unexplored worlds, lost civilizations, untapped resources, we could be the ones to bring light to these places, not just conquer them. Cullis was already assessing the risks. But if we venture too far, we risk drawing attention from those who don't share our ideals. We need to be prepared. The Hadean Empire, in particular, won't take kindly to a new power rising in their midst. But if we can form alliances with the Kynar Collective and the Astra Dominion, we may find common ground. Solis turned to the Zaldrun leader, who had been watching them closely. Will you help us? Guide us? We may be ready for the stars, but we are not yet equipped to handle the complexities of galactic diplomacy and conflict. The Zaldrun leader's gaze softened. We will guide you, yes. But it is you who must make the choices. Your unity will be your greatest strength. But remember, the galaxy will not give you peace simply because you ask for it. You must earn it, through deeds, alliances, and, when necessary, strength. Solis looked back at her crew, each of them standing strong, their resolve as clear as her own. They had passed the trials, but now came the real work, forging humanity's future in the stars. It would not be easy, but it would be theirs to shape. They had proved their worth, their strength, their knowledge, and above all, their unity. And now, they would take their place as leaders in the vast expanse of the universe. With a final nod to the Zaldrun leader, Solis turned to her crew. We have a galaxy to explore. Let's make it ours. Humanity stood at the precipice of its new future, gazing out into the unknown. The Zaldrun leader had given them the tools, the wisdom, and the path forward, but the real journey had just begun. Solis stood on the bridge of the Astra Ascendant, her eyes locked on the vast expanse of stars ahead. The trials had shown them what they were capable of, but the galaxy was a complex, unpredictable place. There were allies to forge, enemies to outmaneuver, and challenges that no one could have foreseen. The crew had spent weeks charting their course, carefully analyzing the star maps provided by the Zaldrun and considering the vast options available to them. They had chosen a path, a series of uncharted systems where no faction had dared venture. Worlds lost to time, deep in the heart of the galaxy, waiting to be rediscovered. These were places where humanity could stake its claim, not through force, but through knowledge, cooperation, and compassion. Ready when you are, Captain, Lieutenant Cullis said, her voice calm but tinged with the excitement that was building within the crew. They had passed through the final trial, but now, the true test was about to unfold. Solis nodded. Set course for the uncharted region. Let's make history. With a hum of energy, the Astra Ascendant sprang to life, and the ship surged forward, the stars blurring into streaks of light as they entered hyperspace. The journey would be long, but they were ready. The crew had proven their worth, but this mission was bigger than any one person. It was a mission for all of humanity. Months passed in the blink of an eye. The uncharted region was as mysterious as it was vast. They encountered strange nebulae, dying stars, and remnants of ancient civilizations that had once thrived, only to be lost to time. Each discovery brought new questions, and each answer only led to more mysteries. But humanity was undeterred. They began to establish outposts on some of the habitable worlds, building alliances with nomadic species who had long been isolated from the galactic conflicts. Yet, with every success came a challenge. The Hadean Empire, ever expansionist, had noticed humanity's movements. Their fleets began to venture into the regions that humanity had claimed, testing the resolve of the new power rising in the galaxy. On one fateful day, a Hadean warship appeared on the edges of their territory, a silent reminder that the trials had not prepared them for the true political games of the galaxy. "This is it," Captain Solis said, standing before the war table in the ship's command center. The crew gathered around, their faces serious. "We've been building, expanding, but the Hadeans are not going to let us go unchallenged. They've always sought power, and they see our rise as a threat." Vance, ever the diplomat, spoke first. "We can't defeat them by force alone. The Hadeans are too powerful. But we can play the long game. Diplomacy, alliances, strategy." Kala scowled, her fingers tapping nervously on the table. "Diplomacy won't be enough. The Hadeans are known for crushing their enemies, not negotiating with them. We need a show of strength, something they can't ignore." Solis took a deep breath. "We won't be forced into a corner. We've built something here. Humanity has proved itself through its unity. If they want to challenge us, we'll stand our ground. But we will not lose our values in the process." It was a defining moment. The choice was clear. They could either retreat, allow themselves to be intimidated by the Hadean Empire, or they could face the challenge head-on and prove that humanity had not only earned its place in the galaxy, but could defend it as well. They chose to stand. Days later, a diplomatic envoy from the Hadean Empire arrived at their main colony, a sleek, imposing ship descending into the atmosphere with military precision. The Hadeans, with their rigid hierarchy and brutal approach to diplomacy, did not come in peace. They came to deliver a simple message: submit, or face annihilation. Solis met with the Hadean emissary, a cold and calculating leader named Admiral Terex, whose reputation for ruthlessness had earned him the fear of many species across the galaxy. "You've proven yourself," Admiral Terex said, his voice as sharp as the weapons at his side. "But the galaxy is not kind to the weak. Submit to the Hadean Empire, and you will be allowed to continue your existence. Resist, and you will fall." Solis stood tall, her resolve unwavering. "Humanity does not submit. We do not bow to threats, and we do not live in fear. We may not be as powerful as your empire, but we are united. And that is something you cannot defeat." The silence between them was thick with tension, but the crew of the Astra Ascendant stood behind her, their faith in humanity's ability to rise above overwhelming odds stronger than ever. "You may have strength," Solis continued, her voice unwavering, "but we have something more, the will to fight for what we believe in. And that will never break." Admiral Terex's eyes flickered with something, perhaps respect, perhaps annoyance, but he gave a curt nod. "We shall see, Captain." Over the next few weeks, the diplomatic tension between humanity and the Hadean Empire escalated, but humanity's resolve held firm. They sought to build alliances, calling upon the Kynar Collective and the Astra Dominion to support their cause. Through delicate negotiations, strategic positioning, and unyielding will, they managed to hold off the immediate threat. The Hadeans, for the first time in their history, found themselves facing a new kind of power, a power born from unity and resilience. But the path ahead was far from certain. There would be more challenges. More tests. Humanity would have to prove that their place in the stars was not just earned, but deserved. They had conquered the trials, forged their future, and survived their first test against the galaxy's greatest power. As Solis stood on the bridge once more, gazing out at the stars, she knew that humanity's journey was far from over. There was still so much to discover, so much to fight for. And though the challenges ahead were great, humanity had something that no empire, no war, no force in the galaxy could ever take away. Unity. And with that, they would face the infinite unknown.